This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
And this half hour brought to you by Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, the best in new inventory. Great pre-owned inventory with the all-important Sunbury Motors guarantee. And a terrific service department that backs it up every step of the way with routine, difficult, quick lane inspections. All at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. And online at sunburymotors.com. Always a pleasure to be joined by the legendary Dan Baker, whose voice we have cherished for years and is back in Citizens Bank Park again. Dan, my friend, great to hear you again.
Hi, Steve. And, you mentioned legendary, my friend. I think that's a category in which you reside.
Well, that's very kind of you. As you know, I work with great people. They help out with whatever I do. So, but thank you. I appreciate that. Dan.
It's a good thing, Steve. It's a good thing they didn't have the NIL for broadcasters, or the Nittany Lions would have lost you years ago.
But thank you. Appreciate that. Dan, I want to ask you about this. Here you are at this stage, decades, and you're driving in for opening day. I'm talking about the drive-in from opening day. What was it like for you to drive in for opening day after all these decades?
It's still, Steve, so exciting for me. It's like getting up Christmas morning. When you arrive at the ballpark. Now, Monday's home opener, which had a Penn State touch,
yep.
Which hopefully we'll talk about in a moment.
Yep.
There's more people around the ballpark, Steve and Todd, when you arrive early. I got there about 9:30. The game was at 3 o'clock. We had a run-through to do a 10, like a rehearsal with NBC Sports Philadelphia. But there's just many more people around the ballpark. If you complete that drive and enter the stadium, and that's where it really hits you. When you drive, for me, I drive over the bridge from South Jersey, from West Deptford to South Philadelphia, and you can see the scoreboard on from the bridge. Already some of the lights are on. This is in the morning.
Yeah.
But there's people lined up outside. The gates didn't open until 12:30, but people just like hanging out there. I like hanging out there, and a lot of the fans do as well. And before regular season games, people don't get there that early. They get there early, but not that early. And it just reminds you that this is something special. And for me, it never gets old. I may be getting old, but
oh no, you sound great. Because look, the answer you gave, which is the answer I expected, this is a man who's been there 53 years, and the juices flow more than ever. That tells you about the quality of the man and the quality of the job.
Oh, wait. Steve, look at yourself. The joy of announcing. You are the voice of the Nittany Lions. And, the people that you work with, the atmosphere in which you work, the friends that you make, people appreciate what you do. They're and I know you get so many compliments all of the time, so deserved. But doesn't it make you feel good when people say nice things and to know that we play a part? It might be only a small part, but it's nice to be involved.
No question. Absolutely. Completely agree. What was it like with Saquon Barkley in the house and throwing out the opening pitch? Oh,
it was amazing. The crowd reaction and, our winter sports teams in Philadelphia are not doing that well. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Philadelphia Flyers. However, the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl championship, and leading the way, number 26, Saquon Barkley, and the fans went crazy. And then Brandon Graham, who's retiring this year, number 55, just a tremendous defensive player out of Michigan, and of course Saquon so proudly representing Penn State, the Phillies. It doesn't seem like it, Steve, but that Phillies World Series championship is already, look how many years ago that was, 2008. It seems like just yesterday. And then they followed that up with a return trip to the World Series in 2009, but lost to the Yankees. And the Phillies have been in the postseason the last 3 years, and most experts pick the Phillies to get to the postseason again in 2025.
By the way, I saw a little bit of like the latter part of the game, like the last 4 or 5 innings. So I didn't see the opening pitches. Did Brandon Graham throw a strike, and did Saquon throw a strike?
I was facing the audience. I had an extensive script to follow, and the timing is such I couldn't even turn around to look at them. They were behind. Yeah, I'm behind home plate, but I'm facing, the audience that way, and I have a rostrum in front of me with a script. And Steve, you're probably aware that everything is timed to the second. My wife, who is a proud Penn State graduate, said, "Make sure you shake Saquon's hand." I didn't have a chance to go over and say hello or anything. I'm so grateful for the Eagles' good fortune. And, of course, I did their public address for 29 years, 1985 through 2013. Yep. But, I still am a huge Eagles fan, and I root for all the Philadelphia sports, high school, college, professional.
It's something I did bring up with you. I think a couple of years ago I brought this up, about your ability in the pregame to be on the field and not just be a voice, but the face with the voice in the ballpark. You've done that. How invigorating is it for you, even though everything has to be timed out to the second, that you're not just in the booth, but you're with the fans at that point on the field?
Oh, it's huge. Steve, you just get enveloped, with the warmth. And I'm not talking about the temperature, but the positive emotion in the crowd and how much they love their sports teams, all of the Philadelphia teams. And it just it invigorates you. It uplifts me every time I walk into that ballpark and I look out and I see that beautiful Philadelphia skyline, see and smell the green grass, see everybody gathering on Ashburn Alley. It's an atmosphere. I mean, I was taken with it, Steve, from the time I was a kid. And the first time I ever went to a Phillies game was 1954 at the old Connie Mack Stadium, named for the legendary Baseball Hall of Fame manager Connie Mack. But I couldn't believe there was so much grass, in the middle of the city. And for night games, and you see those lights shining so brightly, it reminds me of a cathedral. I mean, it's just all inspiring, and it happens to me every time I walk in. I know that may sound trite. Oh, come on, how can that be? And for me, I don't know how many games it's been, 4,000 something, but it never gets old. Never gets old. All of my coworkers would tell you that. I happily greet, everybody from cleaning services to concessions, security guards.
Yep.
Press box workers.
Yep.
Man, oh man, it's heaven to me. Just like I know it must be for you, Steve, in State College.
Same thing. I walk in every time and I look around. There's always that moment where I'll look around, whether it's Beaver Stadium or whatever it happened to be, or the Jordan Center or whatever, and I'll look, how fortunate am I? And the same thing. I'll go around, I'm saying hi to the security guy, Denny downstairs. Denny, how you doing? I'll see Josh. Josh, how you doing? Everybody that you go through and you say hi to them along the way. What do you think of this team? I mean, it's early, but they had some spring training or whatever, and there's a lot of familiar names out there. What do you think of this team, Dan?
Oh, I like it. And, it's funny. I'm very optimistic. Will they win the World Series? They've come close, but it's eluded them the last 3 years. Who can say? Postseason, it's not like the old days when it was just the winner of the National League and the winner of the American League, and those two played in the Fall Classic and let the best man win. Now, you got a wild card round, NLDS, NLCS, so there's a gauntlet to go through. But I could see it happening. What I started to tell you is that I noticed that some of the fans aren't as enthusiastic as they were before the last couple of years, because the Phillies had such an unceremonious exit, being beaten by the Mets in their first postseason series. But I think they forget that the Phillies won 95 games last year.
Yes.
That's sixth best in Phillies history, which started in 1883. Yet because of the postseason disappointment, fans, I guess just won't be satisfied until it's another World Series championship, which, of course, they got to the World Series in 2022 against the Astros, and Houston won it in 6 games. But I like it. I like Max Kepler in left field.
Yes.
Zach Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez keeps on getting better as starting pitchers. Jesus Luzardo, when healthy, he is another excellent starting pitcher. Of course, Aaron Nola, he's been so dependable. He did not have a good outing in the Phillies' third game of the year at Washington, but he keeps you in games. They eat up innings. And I think you're going to see a Phillies team that wins 90-some games. And the two strongest divisions in baseball are both the East, the National League East and the American League East.
Yep.
And it wouldn't surprise me to see 3 teams from each of those divisions make the postseason.
Well, he is a Big Five Hall of Famer. He is a Philadelphia Sports Hall of Famer. And Pat Piper, Bob Shepard, and Dan Baker, in the history of Major League Baseball, are the only 3 that have been public address announcers for their ball clubs for better than 50 years. He is a legend and, to us, the GOAT. Dan, thank you so much for the time you gave us today. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Todd. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Dan. We appreciate you.
State.
Yeah, there you go. We are. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Bye, Steve. Go
Bye,
Phillies.
Dan. Yeah, right. He is just absolutely marvelous. I can't begin to tell you. He is a treasure. I mean, he's a treasure. Right? When you have somebody with, first of all, that voice, knowledge, passion, and just can't wait to get to the ballpark to talk to all of you, and to do it in the professional manner that he does it every game. Game 65 brings with it the same passion as Game 35. He is a treasure. And I hope everyone understands, whatever generation you're in, that man's a treasure. Dan Baker. We will come back. More in a moment. Great to have you with us today. This half hour brought to you by Sunbury Motors here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is, because it's Brewers Outlet time. The Beverage Supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
When car repairs get difficult,
well, I just don't know.
Me neither.
we get good. Sunbury Motors. More than quality new and used cars, Sunbury Motors specializes in complicated auto repair diagnosis. They can handle intricate repairs and even complete auto body with service open Monday through Friday, 7 till 4. And Sunbury Motors has made simple repairs easy. Maintaining your vehicle is necessary. Finding the time to do it is difficult. Welcome to Sunbury Motors Quick Lane. Just walk in or call ahead. Relax in their remodeled waiting room with Wi-Fi, beverages, and snacks. While Sunbury Motors factory-trained techs take care of your oil change, tire alignments, brakes, and inspections. Quick Lane, 6:30 to 6, Monday through Friday, Saturday, 6:30 till 2. Sunbury Motors, Ford and Hyundai, North 4th Street, Sunbury. And Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. We take the out of auto repair.